sugar, spice, and everything nice. Welcome back to the Crafty Quinn. Today I've got a full batch of gingerbread crafts coming out of the Crafty Quinn workshop / oven made with Dollar Tree finds that look good enough to eat. Let's dive right into the first craft. So today I have for you some new crafts, and then at the end of this video are older crafts. So I am starting off using this fawn Waverly chalk paint to paint this Dollar Tree birdhouse. I grabbed this a while ago thinking it would be great for a Valentine's Day craft, but then I got this idea that maybe this would look good for, some peppermint candy and to turn this into a gingerbread house. So I haven't seen anybody else do this, but I don't know. I just thought it was a really cool idea. So I just wanted to give it a try with some white puffy paint. And I got this white puffy paint from Michael's, and I just kind of started off just kind of putting dots everywhere and just tracing the outline. And when I looked up how to do gingerbread crafts with white puffy paint, because I had never really done this before and I hadn't really used puffy paint that very much until I did my crafts for these like a couple years ago, and I don't really know everything there is to know about puffy paint. I don't use it very much. The last time I used puffy paint was probably in the 90s when I was a kid and I got to go do a focus group for a puffy paint Barbie, and I still have that puffy paint Barbie doll. I don't know if they ever ended up like releasing it, but puffy paint Barbie, that was the last time I ever used this paint. So when I was looking this up online, I just saw, just start drawing lines and things like that, and just kind of draw and trace and outline and things like that, and that really brings it to life. So then I took these Dollar Tree candy canes, and what was great is that these candy canes have these little lines in them already, like burned into them. So then that becomes my outline, and it made it definitely difficult to do because following the lines of these things when they're so tiny is hard. But this red puffy paint from Michael's worked better than my white puffy paint because this still had the tip on it, and I cut the tip off of the other one. So anyway, this one works a lot better if you have the skinny little top on your puffy paint. That goes a long way. So I'm just trying to trace all the lines in here. I started off with the white. I let it dry a little bit, but puffy paint really takes a long time to dry, and I quickly learned that because I'm like, I need to let this sit. So I let it sit for a day, and it was still a little sticky even after a whole day. So again, I'm just tracing out lines and just trying to see what works here. So this is my first go at doing this kind of paisley design, and obviously it didn't turn out great, but I promise you it gets better in the next craft because then I go all out with the crazy design, and I'm so excited to show you because it reminds me of the Pottery Barn gingerbread truck. So I just did a bunch of dots. I'm like, you can't go wrong with dots, right? That kind of is easy to do for a design on these. And it just takes a lot of like freehand, but I also kind of try to think of it as like, okay, icing. it looks like icing, right? So icing is going to be messy. So then I took these two gingerbread, and again, I'm using the color Fawn from Waverly Chalk Paint. It's not your typical gingerbread color, but I thought it was, kind of a different spin on things. So I just kind of started tracing the lines, and you know what? It looks like they have sleeves. And then I was like, I need a pop of color in this, so let's put some red on here. I did not know how to draw the mouths on these with the white puffy paint, but yeah. So you got a sneak peek there of my craft in the next video, but it's fine. So kind of filmed things a little bit out of sequence here, but I just hot glued these gingerbread down, and I did hot glue the candy canes to the side of this as well. And there you go. Just like that, this wood house turns into a little gingerbread house, and even some peppermint candies in there. I thought it was a candy dish kind of thing. I thought it was cute. So for the next craft, this one is way more involved, and it's going to take a lot of time because it's a lot of drawing of designs. So this is a Dollar Tree truck sign, and they come out with these every Christmas. I hope they have them again this year, but I kind of had a little bit of a stash, if you will, of these things because I thought they would be great to have on hand for crafts like this in the future. So again, I'm taking that Waverly Fawn chalk paint. It's like a gray brown, basically. So I just covered the entire thing, even the rims of the wheels and everything. But, oh, I forgot to mention, I was using antique Waverly wax and a makeup wipe to stain the wheels. That's what I was doing before I started painting this. I'm using like everything but a paintbrush, I swear. I have these little like foam sponges, and I was using a foam sponge to paint the rest of the truck. It's late, I'm tired, sorry guys. But I just thought, you know what, let's give this a try. So the green is a sage blossom, I think it's called, by Plaid Folk Art. So then again, I was like, let's just try some squiggly. I looked up some vintage truck design gingerbread to see if something like this existed, kind of giving me a template to go off of. So I just Googled that, and then I saw this like Pottery Barn truck, and it's so cute. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna base my design off of that because this gives me a template to go for. And then I can just take it from there and be as creative as I want. So again, the trick is to just start tracing, outline things, and when you do that, that's what's supposed to make it look like a gingerbread house. And when you have those gingerbread kits, that's what you tend to do anyway, just kind of outline and trace and things like that. So that's what really makes the design come to life, but also filling in the gaps with these little dots everywhere. That is where I feel like this design really started to take off. So again, just kind of starting with the tracing as your base, and then just filling in the gaps wherever you can with like little dots, and that really just ties everything together and brings the design together. So this paint is obviously, yeah, it's white Michael's puffy paint. I just want to make sure I'm mentioning everything. So I totally messed up with this. I was like, oh my gosh, I drew an alien. I did not know what to do. I'm like, I have to fix this. I kept looking online at the design, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to curl up all the edges here. That's going to make it look a little bit better, right? Not really. So I'm like, I just got to keep going. I'm like, you know what? Let's just kind of draw some design here above it, and let's just see what happens. Just more dots. That works great, right? So I just kept drawing squiggles and things like that. It's supposed to be kind of more of like a paisley kind of thing. Like think of like Vera Bradley. That is basically kind of what the design is going for. And I feel like that's what Pottery Barn was trying to do with their gingerbread truck. And then I was like, you know what? It'd be a great opportunity to draw, you know, the spokes of the wheels as well. But really that's what this craft is. It takes a lot of patience, you know, and your design is not going to come out great at first, obviously. But when the tip of your bottle is not there, like what was happening with my bottle, that makes a big difference, because these lines could have been skinnier if I hadn't have cut the top of that off. But I had to get to my paint because it was crusted up so bad I couldn't, get any of the paint out. So I had to cut that off. But just keep drawing dots everywhere in between. If you have any like awkward spaces that you don't know what to do with, that's what you can do. You can just put a little, you know, squiggly line, or like fill it in with some dots, and that really goes a long way. Because at first I was like, oh my gosh, should I just throw in the towel with this? These lines are coming out too thick. But you know what? At the same time, it is supposed to be icing, right? So, yeah. I think the lines can be thick. I think it can be fine. I was trying to match the pattern on that side too, with like the dot and then the 3 lines shooting out above it. Yeah. But in the end, after I added everything and I filled in every little square space I could with the dots, then I really loved how it was starting to turn out. And then I was like, you know what? This looks awkward. Let's trace this too. Let's make this look like it's a Christmas tree cookie or something like that. And that's really what this is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a baked good. And here is the final result, and I couldn't be happier with it, actually. I think it's so cute. I think this is probably my new favorite gingerbread craft. Okay, so these 2 houses, I got these from Dollar Tree, both of them from Dollar Tree, from just their typical regular crafting section, not the seasonal stuff. So a heat gun does not work, unfortunately, to take this fabric off of these. I tried it. I really held it over a while. It did not come off. So I just started ripping it because I noticed it would come up at least like that. And then I took this Cricut tool and just kind of went at it. And I realized that the heart in the middle is holding this fabric down. So once you get the heart off, that helps it. But then the wood trim of the roof, that's also holding this fabric down. So that's where you need an X-Acto knife, something sharp, to cut this fabric, because if you want the trim to stay, you gotta remove it this way. And I wanted the trim to stay there. So just keep at it with an X-Acto knife and it will come off. You just really have to trace right up against the edge of the trim of the roof. And once I did that and just kept going at it a few times, it will come off. But yeah, I tested it with a heat gun, and whatever glue they used, it would not work. So that now is where your finger sander is really going to come in handy, because it, as you can tell, it takes all the glue and the fabric pieces off of this. I was using the coarsest setting I could of sandpaper attached to this finger sander, and that's really what helped. So I just went right up against the edges of this, and it's all gone. It just takes a little bit of elbow grease, it all comes off. And then before you know it, you have a blank slate. But it was very important to make sure all of the fabric and glue was off of this, and just, wipe it off too with a rag, because you don't want any of that to, be bumpy and sticking out of your paint. Because we are making a gingerbread house. So at first I thought I wanted to make a gingerbread village, but then I was like, I only have 3 pieces total that I'm working with, so you know what? It's gonna be a gingerbread mansion. So this is more of that Waverly Fawn color chalk paint. I like how it comes out when you first paint it. I'm like, can it just look like that? And then it needs a couple more coats. And then my cat Eddie decided to jump up because he loves to observe when I'm crafting, but then he started sniffing paint, and I'm like, oh no, this is not gonna work. And then he made little squirrel noises because he was mad that I wouldn't let him sniff paint. So, the life of a pet parent. So you're just, after your pieces are all painted, so I flipped them over because these are the backdrop for this house. And then I took these jumbo popsicle sticks that I got from Walmart. I can link them below, but these are amazing. I love these. And then I just loaded them up with Gorilla Glue sticks. They are super strong and they're perfect for this kind of craft when you want something to be held in place. So I just did that for all 4 glue sticks. I left a little gap in the middle where it wasn't necessary to put the glue, and then just laid them all down. And it holds it immediately. It was great. So then I took this miniature house, also from Dollar Tree, also painted, and just laid it right on top. Only gluing the parts where I knew it would actually touch the houses. And then it's perfect. So then I'm like, okay, now it's time for the icing. I really struggled with this one because I wanted it to look like, drippy icing. So I just took more of my Michael's puffy paint, and I was like, don't really like how it's turning out. And then I realized, I need to make some of these dots longer than the other ones, and then it really looks like icing. So I just drew some longer pieces and then some shorter ones, kind of every other. And I'm doing this just for the tops of each roof. And then I was like, okay, it's time to draw something on these. And then I went for it and decided to add a window. Best I could. But I was like, if this is one big house, I need to have windows. And then the very front piece here, the miniature house, is gonna have the door. So I didn't go crazy on this because I actually made this house first, and this was before I decided I wanted to get all kind of crazy with patterns and designs. So I was like being super cautious with this one. And I was like, you know what, let's do some drippy icing on the windows and just kind of see how it turns out. And then my light got turned off. Bad cat. So this is a ceramic candy cane and, well, candy canes. And this is from the Target Dollar Spot section. It's a magnet. As you saw, I just ripped that off because it comes off really easily and didn't need that part. So I just drew another window, horribly out of shape window. It's fine. And then just put more drippy icing dots on the bottom there. And yes, I drew the door. Just kind of, you know what? I just, you just eyeball all of this, really. But it's yours to be creative with and have fun with, and that's the whole point. And then when it's done, this is the end result. So just simple, neutral craft for, or decor that you can put up for Christmas, and maybe you can leave it out in January. So this is a tray. It's a little pedestal tray from Dollar Tree. This is just out with their decor stuff, kind of all year round kind of thing. You know how they have those, like, I don't know, it's not like an end capsule thing, but they have this like decor stand thing with different seasonal different things on it that are for all year round. So I'm just taking this finger sander again, and I tried really with a heat gun to get the top paper out off of this. That wouldn't work, and that's why I had to finger sander it. So as you can tell, that thing really comes in handy, and I'm gonna lick that blow because it is very, very useful. So then I took some white Waverly chalk paint, and once it was sanded down completely and it was flat and there was no design left, that's where I painted. And then I took this fabric. I'm pretty sure I got this from Joann's Fabrics before they went out of business a couple years ago, which really sucks. I miss them. They had built a flagship store right in my town, and then they got rid of it. So I used my flat iron for this. I've had this flat iron since I was 15. I'm now 34, and I still have it to this day. I love this Chi flat iron. So yeah, I was just trying to get the wrinkles out because this fabric was in my Christmas bin and it was out of shape for being in storage for so long. So I traced the top of this pedestal, and now I'm just cutting it out. And then I'm using some Mod Podge. This is from Dollar Tree. If you're a regular Dollar Tree crafter shopper, you might recognize it. I put way too much on here, you guys, way too much. I spread it as evenly as I could, best I could. I did have to get some of the excess off of there, and then I laid it down and it adhered immediately, and I tried to adjust it and it wouldn't. The second it was laid down, it was like permanent. It would not let me move it. So I was just kind of flattening it out, making sure all the wrinkles are out of this. And then I had a little bit of, like white sticking out because it would not let me adjust it. And then I took a hairdryer and just went over it and just made sure it was definitely adhering this way. And that's just one way to make sure it stays in place, and also a way to get all of the last remaining bumps out of this fabric. So it worked a little too well because the second I put it down, could not shift the direction of this fabric. So I'm like, you know what? It's just gonna look a little awkward in the back, but I can hide that. It's fine. There's gonna be stuff that sits on this. And then because it was not in place, I did have to cut off the excess, but again, totally fine. And there were like little strings and things like that. And I know people always tell me that like you can get rid of the excess strings with like a lighter, but I'm not confident enough to try that, but I've seen other crafters do it. So then I was like, you know what? The legs of this are like plain wood and they need to match the rest of my gingerbread stuff. So I used more fawn chalk paint. So next we're gonna make this little rolling pin. So all this stuff is going together. It's kind of like a set, if you will. So I took more of that fabric and I was like, you know what, while I have it out, I think this would look really cute on this little roller. This rolling pin is not from Dollar Tree, unfortunately. It's from Hobby Lobby. Comes in a 3-pack. Love it though. I've done it. I've made so many crafts with these little rolling pins. Made lemon themed crafts, all kinds of stuff. But anyway, I'm using more Mod Podge, and I'm just doing a small section at a time, and then using my hairdryer / heat gun to hold it in place. And that is honestly the best way you can do this, so that you don't get the bumps. It stays in place, you know, and stays even. And so just do a small section at a time and just pull it tight, tight, tight. As you're doing it, just pull it and make sure it's definitely flat. And then once you have that covered, then you're going to want to take your hairdryer again, heat gun again, just go over it again. This will make sure it stays in place, no bumps. And then you're good to go. And then you just keep doing that for the rest of this. And it really did work really well. So then, even for the last part, you just put it right on the fabric. So same trick you're doing, and just laying it down. Then I realized I needed a little bit more. And it's fine if it gets on the fabric. Like, it dries clear. It's not super noticeable. I can't remember if this was the gloss or the matte one, but either way, it doesn't even show up, so you're fine. And then, yeah, just make sure it's all adhered, but it will be. And then I just removed the strings. It was not perfectly even when I put this on there, so I did cut this as well. And then again, I wanted the ends of this to match. So I did take another one of my foam brushes and just completely coat both sides of this little rolling pin. So this color wasn't exactly what I originally had in mind for gingerbread crafts, but it, you know, at least they all match. And when I did my first gingerbread crafts video, which you're about to see in this video, I was using antique wax, Waverly antique wax, and just staining all of the gingerbread that way. So it was a wood stain. So I didn't even have a good gingerbread color to begin with. So I don't really use the traditional lighter brown for any type of gingerbread craft. So really my goal was to have all of this match, especially if it is a bit of a matching set. Because there's this and some of the other things that you saw. And then this gingerbread caddy from Target. I don't know if they had this same one last year, but I was like, I love this. I saw this in the Target Dollar Spot section and immediately grabbed it, and I was like, this is going to be a decor display. Absolutely. So this is what I decided to do with it. But then I also wanted to take my rolling pin and put that in there as well. But I was just kind of messing around because it actually holds a lot of things. Way more things than I thought. So I grabbed some Dollar Tree decor and I just spread it throughout. So this is what the pedestal looks like. This is going to be in my little coffee bar. And this is how I'm using the rolling pin and these Dollar Tree items. So now we're going to dive into my older crafts. Thanks for watching. This is a small wooden shadow box that I found at Michael's, and it was actually 99 cents. So cheaper than Dollar Tree, if you can believe it. So first we are going to paint this box with some white Waverly chalk paint, but use whatever chalk paint you would like, or just regular paint. Next, I am staining this teeny tiny gingerbread man that I got from Dollar Tree. This came in a multi-pack, and I got these last year, but these should be back this year. I have not seen too many Dollar Tree Christmas items out just yet in my stores anyway. Maybe you're starting to see some in yours, but these gingerbread last year were definitely a hit, so be sure to look out for them again this year. So I'm using some puffy paint. I got this at Michael's, and this we're just going to kind of trace an outline, and we're going to kind of make sleeves on the gingerbread man, make a little face, and the gingerbread will start to come to life. So I'm taking some green puffy paint as well. So definitely you're going to need puffy paint. I used a lot of it for my gingerbread in these crafts, but I don't know, I just really felt like the puffy paint was really what brought the gingerbread people to life. So I did attempt to draw a smiley face on this. Did not go quite as well because I had to snip off the end of the white puffy paint, so it definitely does not allow me to make skinny lines anymore on that one. So next, I am just freehand writing out "oh snap" on this wooden shadow box, and I would have loved to have like snapped the leg off of like the gingerbread man to go with the "oh snap" theme, but these were really hard to cut and I couldn't cut these, so I just thought, you know what, it still looks cute if I just write "oh snap" next to it. So I'm using a red puffy paint, also from Michael's. I don't know why it's coming out like looking like pink in the video, but I swear it is a red color puffy paint. So here is the "oh snap." I feel like I redid this a bunch of times. You know, I kept going back fixing the letters, and then I made one part thick and I had to go back and fix the rest of it. So by the time I was done with writing "oh snap," it looks a lot different than what you see here. But that's because I kept messing up and I just had to keep going back and fixing it. So here I'm just painting the entire outside of the shadow box with crimson from Waverly. And then next I'm just kind of layering some ribbon. This is all Dollar Tree ribbon except for the red and the white crinkly pieces. Those were also from, actually no, those were from Walmart. So I love to do this, I love to layer it, and all of this is going to go nicely onto our project. So sometimes I will hot glue down the ribbon layers, other times I will just let them, you know, kind of do their own thing, just whatever I'm feeling in the moment. So for this, I felt like they needed to be glued down, I guess. So the red doesn't exactly match, you know, all of the reds that I have so far, but you know what? I really felt like it was cute because it kind of made things stand out a bit in the corner there. So we are not quite done with this sign just yet. There is one final step. I decided to add little dots of white puffy paint, and at first when I started doing that I thought maybe this could look like snow, and then the longer I was making those dots, I was like, you know what, it kind of looks like icing, and the "oh snap" kind of looks like icing, so you know, that is what we're gonna go for. So I just love this miniature sign and the final result, which you will see in a second. So here is the end result, and it is so tiny, I feel like it would be absolutely perfect for a tiered tray. So this was super fun. You may recognize this if you're a regular Dollar Tree shopper, but this is one of Dollar Tree's newer pieces, and it did have the letters "home" inside of this ladder, and I took those out using a hairdryer, and I just melted down the glue that was holding down those letters in place, and it was not fun, so I did a lot of that off camera because it was just so messy. So I am actually going to paint this entire ladder, this natural wood ladder. I'm painting it the crimson color that I used earlier in the video, which is by Waverly, and now I'm using a white chalk paint by Waverly, and I'm using a stencil brush to kind of dry brush over this, and I thought, you know, maybe it'll look kind of like a snowy kind of look, but I just felt like the red was just too red. And these, I don't know what material these are made out of, but the gingerbread people over here in the top right corner of the screen, those are from Michael's. I found them in a 4-pack. So those are at Michael's right now. I just got them, and I don't know what material they're in, but they are like, I mean, there's absolutely no weight to them at all. So some kind of foam piece, because yeah, they weigh absolutely nothing. I will say though that you may have to go and fix the icing, so to speak, on these gingerbread men, but I just love how realistic they look, and they really truly look like gingerbread cookies. So I got them at Michael's, and I also had like a 20% off coupon, and I used it for these. So we are almost done here with our ladder. And here's what it looks like when it's finished. We are just going to hot glue down these gingerbread people to this ladder. And they definitely stay in place nicely. Next, I'm taking this greenery from Dollar Tree. I tied some jute twine on the ends of this greenery from Dollar Tree, and I don't know, I just felt like it looked good on the end of this, because otherwise there was like a sharp metal piece sticking out when I cut off this twig from the, I guess, branches. So I wanted to cover that up, make it look prettier. And then I ended up doing it to the other greenery as well. So for now, we're just going to fix the icing that is on each gingerbread person. So yeah, it was definitely fading, and I wanted to brighten and liven things up a bit. So I did that to both. It's not going to look amazing, it's not going to look perfect, but you know, that's what I love about this craft theme. You can just be as campy and kitschy as you want. So we are almost done with this craft. So that definitely came out much better. And definitely the paint is standing out. So I added one more little greenery sprig, whatever you want to call it, to this ladder. Hot glue is all you need to hold this in place. And also what was great about adding the jute twine at the edge of this sprig was that it held it better to the ladder. It had something more substantial to hold on to hold it in place. Then I added just a lace bow at the top right corner. I love how kind of in a way it looks kind of rustic and vintage, and this was definitely one of my favorites from today. So I love these greenery from Dollar Tree. So this is a pretty hazelnut color that I'm painting these teeny tiny gingerbread people. So this is Hazelnut by Waverly. I just found this at Walmart like a day or two ago, so absolutely loved this color for our gingerbread people. So we are going to do something similar that I just showed you in an earlier craft here, and we are just kind of drawing the outlines. I just kind of started by drawing the eyes first and kind of trying to plan where I wanted them, and then kind of going back and figuring out how I wanted to do the smile, because that was definitely giving me trouble. So I wasn't, you know, chomping at the bit to draw the smiles on these just yet. I had to figure it out first. So yeah, some look like they're smiling, and then some look like it's like a half smile. But it's okay. It's all good. So we are doing many different designs here. So we have one that has the all white puffy paint on it, and then we're going to do some with like a mix of the green and the white and the red. And that is what is so fun about making these. I love doing the different color combinations. And it's just really looking like Christmas. I don't know about you guys, but I love to have gingerbread every Christmas. I don't know if there's something that you guys like to have every Christmas. What is your favorite Christmas treat? If you have one. But yeah, leave me a comment down below, which is your favorite. So we are almost done. I did some green buttons on this. And then one last color combo. So this was a really fun, I got to be really creative with this craft, and you'll see why in a couple of minutes, but, well, in a minute or two. But what was great about this is I had to really think outside of the box to come up with this one item for this DIY craft, whatever you want to call it. So we are gluing these down, and what's great about this little metal tray that is from Dollar Tree, just like these tiny little gingerbread people. So this is all from Dollar Tree, but what's awesome is that it kind of looks like a miniature cookie tray, cookie sheet. So that is the look we're going for here. We want to make this look like these just came out of the oven, and you know, we decorated them and everything. So I left a tiny bit of space, and you'll see why. So here I wanted to draw, I don't know, have a spatula of some sort, and so anybody can do this. Just take a piece of cardboard, just kind of draw a spatula, and just, it has to be teeny tiny to fit in the corner there, but it is just such a simple concept that, you know, anyone can do this if you are thinking you want to make something, you know, kitchen themed here. So I just drew a teeny tiny spatula, and when I was making this, it reminded me of the Tiny Chef. I don't know if anybody follows Tiny Chef on TikTok or Instagram, but it just reminded me of that. So if you haven't seen the Tiny Chef, go look that up. It's so cute, you won't be disappointed. So yes, I use my X-Acto knife to draw kind of like the slits in this spatula, and I just thought it was perfect for these gingerbread cookies. Sorry if you hear any snoring. My dog is currently having a doggy dream. She's right underneath my feet, just snoring away. So after I've cut out all of the slits, we are going to take some aluminum foil, and we are going to cover up this spatula to make it look like it's truly a metal spatula. Just cardboard and aluminum foil. I mean, how easy is that? And then I just took some scissors and I just cut off the excess. So you can leave your cardboard brown. I painted the little cardboard handle of the spatula just a silver color, just to, I don't know, match, I guess, what's in my kitchen. But yeah, you can totally make one, or you can go to the, you know, little like toy section of Dollar Tree and look for a little spatula there, or you can make one like I did. So this is a mitten that is in one of Dollar Tree's tiny little wood cutouts. They have different packs of these, and they're mixed in with like present shapes or like candy cane wood shapes, and it's in like a multi-pack of that. So I decided to take that and just paint it completely red so that it would look like an oven mitt. So no longer a mitten, but an oven mitt. And what was great about this wood cutout is it did kind of already have a quilted look about it. So next we're just going to hot glue those two down, and that's really all this craft needs. We are done. And I thought this is another cute little kind of mini item that I thought would be great for a tiered tray with our shadow box sign. And here's the end result. So cute. We are making a sign. Now, before I show you this sign, I just have to point out that when I make a lot of front door signs, I kind of have a little fun twist on them. I don't like to make them, you know, so cutesy, but I like to kind of have them look cute and draw you in, and then say something spicy. So I don't know if you guys have seen my bee crafts video, but I made the sign say "buzz off." And the reason I did that is because we have a lot of solicitors. So now we're going to make a Christmas version of that, so to speak. So this is a wood round from Dollar Tree. Is a very, very large wood round, actually. And so we are just going to paint the whole thing with white chalk paint. Use whatever chalk paint you desire, but we are going to use this because I felt like it was a good background color to have when I Mod Podge this fabric that I found at Walmart over top of it. So I just felt like it was definitely a great background. So I'm just using a sponge, and I'm just kind of going section by section with my Mod Podge. I'm using matte Mod Podge, and I'm just kind of starting over here on the left, and kind of so I'm laying it down, and it's mostly sticking, but pretty much after I lay down a section and I'm Mod Podging a section, I'm going over and grabbing my hair dryer and just hair drying over that, which you don't see here. I did that off screen because I had to plug in my hair dryer elsewhere. I needed another outlet, and I didn't have an outlet near me, so I was literally walking over, hair drying the Mod Podge, and coming back, and then, you know, each section. So yeah, that is why that's not on film. So I also grabbed these stencils from Walmart. They are just they're actually over right above the Waverly chalk paint in my Walmart, so that's where I found them. But these are not Waverly stencils. So these are just kind of regular cardboard letter stencils, and each letter is supposed to have some kind of, like, I don't know, slit or something in it, but I didn't like that, so I kind of went back and I fixed every letter to make it look like the way I wanted. So, you know, to each their own. But I don't know. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of these cardboard stencils. I normally like to use kind of like reusable, you know, adhesive stencils, but I've never actually tried chalk couture, but maybe I will eventually. So I'm using more of that hazelnut Waverly chalk paint for a couple more tiny gingerbread people. And by the way, I did go to Amazon and look for some gingerbread people, like wood cutouts, and so I did link to that below if you're looking for some. I couldn't find any as tiny as these, but I did find that some that are just maybe just a few inches tall. So I have a link to some wooden gingerbread cutouts down below in the description of this video if you want to check those out and see if they're something you could use for your project when you make some gingerbread projects. So we made a couple more gingerbread people, and I felt like these fit kind of perfectly in between each side of bite me. See, this is, I thought it would go well with the gingerbread cookie theme and the candy cane. So I took more of that Dollar Tree greenery, and I just used some jute to kind of tie a few sprigs together, just so I love doing that because it's something nice that the hot glue can hold on to the jute, and it's holding together the sprigs, and it holds everything together in place. So we are layering everything up over here in the left hand corner, and we're layering up some burlap and some lace ribbon, all from Dollar Tree. So that is what's going to be forming our bow. So the end bow does not look like this. I was trying out many different styles, and after I made this particular bow, I realized that the red was just way too red for this sign and it would not match. So, but this is normally what I like to do. I like to layer it and then I cinch it, and that's pretty much my process. But this is not the final bow that I go with. But after I cinch it, I just kind of fluff things out, and that's normally what I do. So I ended up going with more of a red and white striped, teeny tiny thin string. And I felt like that matched the candy canes a lot more. And then I definitely felt like something needed to cover up the fabric because it was not like a clean cut. So I just wanted to cover up those rough edges with some Dollar Tree ribbon. So here is the end result. Well, not quite. I decided to cut off the fabric on the sides because I realized there was too much. But here is the end result, and this is going to hopefully scare off some solicitors sweetly. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Have a great week ahead. Let's keep in touch on Instagram. Follow me. Please subscribe. Please like this video if you haven't already. Thanks. Take care, you guys.